Hello and welcome to my video. In this video, we're going to look at how to remove picture backgrounds using PowerPoint. Now there are two methods, one that you can use in PowerPoint 2007 and before, and then another one that is only available in 2010 and beyond, and that's my preferred method. Now you can remove backgrounds and make them transparent so that you can make little silhouettes of your images and merge images to create new scenes. So that's the idea of what we're going to do. Let's get started. Here I am in PowerPoint where I'm going to show you how to remove the background. So let's go and I'll show you the first case first. Now some people argue that this is simpler, but I actually find that the supposedly more complicated method is simpler. So we're going to show you setting a color to transparent. So here I've got a simple, and this primarily works best on simple diagrams where you've got a real distinguishing, something really distinguishing between the foreground and the background. Here we've got a black foreground image that we want and a white background that we want to get rid of. So this is about as different as you can be, and it's very easy to find the differentiation between the background and the foreground. So here's how we do it. We select the image, and then I come up to Picture Format. Now on Picture Format is this color option, and I come down, I click on the color option, and it gives me several options for setting colors, and one of them down here is Set Transparent Color. So let's click on that. That gives you a little pencil that you can use, and you click on the color, there we go, and you click on the color that you want to set to transparent, and that's white. Now that's pretty simple, and it gets rid of the color, but it only works really when you're using very different colors for the foreground and the background, and your line between the two is very distinct. And still, notice how you get this slight white background to things. Now the only way to modify this at any time in the future is to undo. Well, it's the only time to modify it is now, and that's to undo what you did. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on the little undo, and I'm going to undo that. Now I'm going to show you the second method, which is the remove background method. Now, the method I just showed you is available in all versions of PowerPoint. This setting or removing a background option is only available in PowerPoint 2010, 13, and 2016. So let me show it to you. Once again, you select the image. So let's select it so that it has the little balls on each edge. And then you come to Format Picture. Now notice over on the far left is something called Remove Background. Now notice what happens when I click on this. Now everything that's purple is going to be removed. Everything that's not purple is going to be left. That was pretty simple, right? So I actually find this method to be just as simple, if not simpler, than the other method. Now you have options here for what you want to do, and we're going to talk about marking areas to keep and marking areas to remove in just a little bit. I can discard the changes that I'm working with, and I'm back to where I was. Now let's go in here and we'll do it again. Remove background, and here's the purple area. And now what I want to do is I want to say keep changes. Notice how we got a real nice clean cutout with that, with no white outline on our black dot. I think this is a very simple method for removing backgrounds, and it works great with complex scenes. Let's go and look at a more complex scene. Here we have a man standing out on a country road, and there isn't a real clean distinguishing between what we want, the man and the background. Now if we use, let's select this image, and we'll use Picture Format, and we'll use Color, and Set Transparent Color. And then if you try and pick the background here, notice it only just kind of removes little dinky portions of the background. It doesn't know how to handle this complex background. So let's undo that. And now let's try our Remove Background option. We once again come to Picture Format, and then we come over to Remove Background. That did a pretty good job to start with his head, but notice now his code and so on was missed. Well, that's what these two buttons are for up here, is mark areas to keep and mark areas to remove. So I'm going to say mark areas to keep, since we're missing some areas we want to keep, and what we get is this little pencil again. This time what we do is we draw a green line just kind of in the areas that we want to keep. Let's come across here, up here, get that, come down here, and around to here, like that. And notice how it got quite a bit of him that time. Let's see if we can get the rest of it. Just draw over here. There we go. Now we've got all of him. And notice how areas popped up there. This is what happens is sometimes the program gets a little bit confused and it actually adds areas you didn't want. And that's what the mark areas to remove is for. Now we actually got a clean job on him. So let's go ahead and actually, another thing that I want to show you before I do this is if I had my thumbnails open here, you could actually see in the thumbnail what it's going to end up looking like. So you might want to use your thumbnails to see that. I'm closing the thumbnails so that I get rid of that distraction. Now we want to keep the changes, and there he is. Now he's cut out. Now what would you use something like this for? Now we have a nice cutout image and it's nice and clean all the way around the edge. Well, let's go ahead and we'll insert, and we'll unselect that image, and we'll insert a picture. And the picture that I want is an urban background. So I can take this and I can stretch it. It doesn't matter. It's going to make the people a little fatter. If I stretch it to the full size of the slide, and then I right-click on the slide, and I say Send to Back. That changes the stacking order. And now I have this man standing in an urban environment. That's great, isn't it? You can do some really neat images this way. Now, what if we have an even more complex background? Let's take a look at something like this. This is what I used for the cover, and I cut it in half and I made part of it transparent and part of it not. Let's go ahead and select the image, and this can take a while. I want to show you how to use both mark things to keep and mark things to remove by doing a remove background. And notice if we want the people, we've got a lot of missing people here. So we're going to do mark areas to keep, and I want him and his arm and his pants. All right, I got that pant leg. And then I got that pant leg. Oh, but you see, it gave me some stuff that I didn't want. So let's mark as remove all this stuff. And it takes that out. And sometimes you just go bink. Just click once. You don't even really need to drag to get the little areas here. There we go. Now, mark areas to keep. We missed part of his shoulder. And you just keep going like this. You know, we need to go bink and get that little area here. And there we go. Now we've got him, and we move on to his hair. And then we need this person back behind him. Let's see if we can get her in here. There we go. That came fairly quickly and easily. Her, we need these areas added. There we go. And we need her arm. And then I need her body. We'll get a little bit more of her body. Whoa, and see, we got a lot. So what you end up doing with this technique, I may not show you the entire process here because you got to go back and forth. Here I'm using the red line to remove You got to go back and forth between removing and adding until you get exactly what you want. I want this hand, and I want the finger, and so on. And then I want to go back to removing an area. I don't want this white area here. And then I don't want this pillow and stuff here. And then I need to get her arm back in here. And her coat is missing just a little bit of the edge. And now I've pretty much got her. Let me see, I need to remove this little area here. I'm just clicking once. Ooh. And then mark areas to keep. I want that. That may be as close as we're going to be able to get with that. And you just keep moving on through. So mark area to keep. I want his hair and his ear. There we go. And she's in it now. Now I need her to be in it. Down through here. And I need the hair. We're getting closer. And now we've got to remove our white again. So sometimes it gets a little frustrating. You end up having to go back and forth because the program gets confused and it removes areas that it shouldn't have. But eventually you'll get it. Just keep working away at it. Here we've got pretty much 3. We're pretty close. I need to remove this area here. See if we can get rid of this white thing. And then I'm going to keep the bottom of her down in here. There we go. And I'll have her hold the book. Let's keep the spine of the book. There we go. And I want to keep this portion of his shirt. Areas to remove. Let's see if we can get rid of this little white area here. And that's pretty close. Now if we say go ahead and keep these changes, you can see I just cut out a very complex scene. Now I could have been a little neater, I could have worked a little longer, but I don't want you to watch all of that. So you keep switching between remove areas and add areas. And the other cool thing about this is I can go, once again, I go and I work and I go, oh, you know, I could have cleaned this up. I would have really wanted these other areas. Well, with the first technique, all you can do is undo after you do it. But here, I can click the image. I can come back to remove background and notice how it actually has the same removal marked. And I can keep on working on it. So I can just go and I can mark additional areas. I can also go discard changes and I can go back to where I was. So that's removing from a complex image. Now the next one that I want to show you is my little picture of me, and I did it on a green screen so that I could remove it in video. And this actually has an interesting problem. I've got hair and so on, and the green tends to bleed into the hair. So if I take this image and I go picture format, remove background, it's pretty quick to do this actually. I'm going to come up here and around here, and let's see what that does. See? Bang! We're in there. Actually, here I got a little corner of my shirt here. There we go. Got both corners, we got the tie, we got everything. Oh, I'm missing a little bit of my hair here. I got a flat top. There we go. But watch what happens. If I say keep changes, notice how I get a little bit of green and the edge of my image is very ragged. Now, this is going to be hard to blend into things, and if I blend it into anything that isn't green, I'm going to see this green halo and glow around me on my hair. Let me show you a way to fix that, and that is by softening the edges. Our third technique. To do that, I click on the image and I right-click, And up comes the context menu for the image, and I select Format Picture to open the Format Picture pane. And on it, under Fill, oh, actually not under Fill, under, what is this one? Whatever it is, Effects, the second the pentagon here is Soft Edges. And I click on Soft Edges and it opens up. And this will soften the edges of my image. Now it has several presets and I like using those. So here's no soft edges. Here's the softest of soft edges. Notice how it got a little bit softer around the outside. Now I can bring that up. Got a little bit softer again and my jaggedness is going to go away. Now I can really bring this up to make it very soft and get rid of a lot of the green. And now notice how all the jaggedness is gone. Let's put me in the cityscape. So I'm going to say Insert Pictures again. And I'm going to bring in my cityscape and stretch it, making the people a little fatter. I'm sure they don't appreciate that. And then I'm going to right click on the picture and I'm going to say send to back. And there, excuse me, you can see that I blend in better and the green halo is more or less gone. So you can make the images fuzzy. Don't make them too fuzzy. In fact, I'm a little too fuzzy here. Notice too, as you click these presets, what it's doing is it's changing the size here. And I can take the size and go, well, let's take that down just a little bit. There we go. Something more like that. So softening the edges is another technique. Now the final thing that I want to show you is what's virtually impossible to use this technique for. And that is doing hair. Hair is horrible to try and cut out. There's no way that I'm going to be able to use pretty much any tool to remove the background with light hair like this. So that's it. That's how you remove a background. You have two techniques, and you've got the softening technique too that you can use. Go ahead and try it now, and if you didn't quite follow what was going on, watch the video again. You're going to reinforce this in your brain if you actually try to implement it now. So that was it. You now know how to remove backgrounds from images like a pro, and hopefully know just a little bit more about PowerPoint. If you like this video, I encourage you to click the little thumbs up icon and like it. And if you want to see more like this video, then please subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.